The mechanics of a Roman crucifixion were clinically brutal. It involved driving thick iron spikes through bone and wood, suspending a victim until they suffocated. If you read the 53rd chapter of the book of Isaiah, it reads like a forensic profile of those exact events. It is a detailed, step-by-step account of a public execution. There is just one chronological problem. The text of Isaiah was composed roughly 700 years before the Roman Empire ever raised a cross in Judea. Curious. This creates a central mystery: how an ancient scroll could function as a pre-recorded history of one specific individual's death. The text begins by capturing the psychology of the crowd. Isaiah 53 verses 3 and 4 describe onlookers despising the victim, mistakenly believing that his suffering was a form of divine judgment. Then, verse 5 isolates a specific trauma. He was pierced for our transgressions. This typographic layout shows the original Hebrew word used in the manuscript, meḥolal. It expands to reveal its literal definitions, to bore or to pierce through. This linguistic detail matches the physical wounds found in the historical record, specifically the spear thrust into the side and the nail marks in the hands. The passage then notes a behavioral detail. Verse 7 states the victim was led to the slaughter, yet remained completely silent, offering no defense before the authorities. Verse 9 records a specific detail regarding the burial. The victim's grave was assigned with the wicked, yet he was with a rich man in his death. Historically, Jesus was executed between two convicted criminals, the wicked, but his body was buried in the personal tomb of Joseph of Arimathea, a wealthy official. The specificity of these details creates a logical crossroads. Either the prophecy is genuine, or the historical accounts were retroactively tailored to fit the text. Evidence to resolve that question surfaced in 1947, hidden inside a cave in the isolated cliffs of the Judean desert. Bedouin shepherds searching the area discovered stone jars containing a collection of ancient documents, including the Great Isaiah Scroll. This image displays the physical scale of the scroll. Radiocarbon dating and paleographic analysis place its creation at approximately 125 BC, the first time a complete biblical book from antiquity had been recovered. Even with the ragged edges of 2 millennia, the literary content of the book is entirely present. This ongoing scientific preservation in Jerusalem ensures the scroll remains available for verification. The archaeology provides a hard physical timeline. The forensic profile existed at least a century before the birth of Jesus, making retroactive forgery a physical impossibility. That leaves one final question. Could the text of Isaiah 53 have been altered over centuries of hand copying? This close-up view focuses on the specific columns of Hebrew script for chapter 53. When compared to the modern Masoretic text, the ancient scroll matches word for word. We are reading the exact same words today that were penned and preserved before the Roman era. During the 1st century, this specific text served as the foundational explanation for the early church. The book of Acts describes an Ethiopian official traveling while reading this passage. Struck by the description, he asks the apostle Philip, "About whom does the prophet say this? About himself or about someone else?" Philip used Isaiah 53 not as a footnote, but as the primary evidence to identify Jesus as the subject of the text. For the first leaders of the movement, this chapter provided the logic of the crucifixion, the narrative blueprint that connected the ancient scroll to the events in Jerusalem. The prophecy concludes with a final detail in verse 10, a servant who is crushed to death, yet somehow prolongs his days. This is the specific language of resurrection, life following an offering for guilt. Isaiah 53 remains a 700-year-old pre-recorded account of death and resurrection, verified by archaeology as the foundational blueprint of the Christian faith.